In this module, you will start to create a small residential project. Then when completed and submitted, you will have the opportunity to create your own design to enhance this house design using Revit tools. Be sure to look in the module for those additional videos to learn from. All right, so let's get started with this small residential project. Each student will receive a house plan from ultimateplans.com. I tried to pick out simple ones here that we can create in the next couple of weeks so that eventually in the third week you can start to put your own design, kind of create something a little more unique in these house layouts. So I'm just going to pick one, this one here. I'm going to go online and go to ultimateplans.com. And on ultimateplans.com, because this one is house plan 10-10-14, I can type it in here, 10-10-14. That's not the one that you'll be doing. This is one that someone will be doing. Everyone will have a different one. So this is for one student. I can then click on this house and see the plans in place and how it might look in 3D here. And it's got a crawl space. I tried to pick them with one set of stairs. Some of them have 2 floors, some 1. But the idea here is that we're going to save this image. So if I right click on this image and pick Save Image As, I'll see that it's a GIF file, and I can't have a GIF file, so I'm going to change the GIF at the end. Just take out the .gif and replace it with .jpg, and then pick Save, and now you have this JPEG file that you can bring into Revit. You may want to print or create a PDF of this page so that you can refer back to this image that you'll be working with as you work with this residential design, or just keep it open and create a link to it. So in Revit, we're going to start a drawing with the architectural template, and then if you notice, this project has 2 different levels. There's level 1 and the level 2, or the roof up here, top level. So you may want to go over to the east elevation, east, north, south, west, doesn't matter which one. Double click on that elevation and notice that you have here this level 1 and 2. So we might want to create another level so that could be for the second floor. So over here at the top right of the architecture tab, I'm going to click on level, and then I can come up another 10 feet if I like, and come around and click. Pull your mouse over and click. All of this information is also in the videos that are posted in the module for your convenience. This is to get started and a kind of a direct streamline for you to start creating something. So here we have level 1, 2, and 3. You can click on this level and click right on level 1 and rename this if you want, first floor plan. And when you do that and you click out in space, it's going to ask you if you want to rename the corresponding views. Go ahead and pick yes. And what happens is the floor plans will, in the project browser, change their names. We did have the introduction video, which was in the first module. You probably picked up some of these things from there too. I would suggest that you pick the little minus sign there in front of the ceiling plans so that you can collapse these plans. Sometimes the ceiling plan is mistaken for the floor plan. You really want to concentrate on the floor plans. So then maybe level 2 is going to be your second floor plan, and then your level 3 could be the roof. So you're establishing these levels before you get started. All right, then back at the first floor plan, to go to insert, the insert tab, click on image, and then find that image of your house and then bring it in by clicking right there. There it is. Now it's not to scale. So the first thing we want to do, use your escape key. Make sure you're completely out of this, any tools that you were in. Go to the architecture tab and pick up the wall tool. And when you pick up the wall tool, you can decide on which walls you want to use for your exterior of this drawing. It could be generic 8 inches. But over here, you want to watch in this options bar, this green bar here, where the height is unconnected. We want the height, possibly, of the garage, for instance, to go from the first floor to the second floor, not to the roof. So I'm going to go ahead and click on our second floor plan. If you would have left it as level 1, 2, and 3, it would be from level 1 to level 2. And I know, for instance, just to set this up to scale, that this is 28 feet here. So I'm going to click a point, pull my mouse straight down, and you can type in 28, or you can just click and change the temporary dimension there. So you can type in 28 and enter. And there's your wall. Now, I just want to point out to you, see these two little arrows? Those arrows are going to be here. I'm going to escape out and click on it again. The outside of the wall. So if this was the outside of the garage, I'd have to click on it to make sure it's on the other side. Two things that I'd like to add to this video are that you may want to select these walls or start with a wall that's an exterior wall, like the exterior brick on metal stud. That way you'll already have the brick when you start to render this project later on. If there's not one in here, then we're going to take a look at how to modify the layers of a wall. That's another reason to watch the wall video, so that you can add that layer of exterior material to your project. And you can always do that later as we start to create the graphic presentations for this project. The second thing I wanted to talk to you about is if you don't have these exact dimensions on your project, so you can pick one of these room dimensions and use a wall within that room to modify the image size. All right, so that is 28 feet. I don't want to change that, but I do want to change the image so that the image is going to be pretty close to that scale. So you see I'm kind of making it bigger by stretching out this corner. And then I can drag this over to the wall and use your arrow keys on the keyboard with the image selected so that you can line it up. Now you're not changing the wall, you're changing the image so that the image is going to be around the same size of the wall that you just drew at 28 feet, because that's what 28 feet is right there. Okay, so now you can get started. If you start the wall tool and you know that you have a wall that goes all the way up to the roof, because the other part does, you can click on roof or level 3, the new level 3 that you have. And at this point, you're ready to start drawing. Now, like I said, it's not going to be exact. What you're doing is you're creating something that is similar to what is on the drawing. And notice that the arrows are here on the outside because I went clockwise. If I come across right here to this angled wall, and I just arbitrarily pick this one, you may want to have, for the exterior walls, just want to show you this because I did take it out. When you start the wall tool, make sure the check mark is in chain, which is actually the default. And that way when you start to draw, the walls will stay together in kind of a chain. And as I'm drawing here around all the way, I've got my exterior. You can always drag these and work with them as you start to create more walls. And when you're ready, I'm looking for this week and into next week, I'm looking for the exterior walls and the roof with the floor. So here, I may want to go back and create these shorter walls. I'm not going to do this whole thing. I just wanted to get you started here. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll talk about adding stairs and the kitchen counter and changing the floor itself, the material. But what I'd like you to at least finish are the outside walls. If you have time and you want to click on wall and scroll down here to the interior walls, you can start to put the interior walls in. But just maybe take the check mark out of chain so that you can create these walls that kind of go across. I would like you to be careful that you don't have walls that are a bunch of smaller, short walls, right? So you want to make sure that if you have a continuous wall, it goes all the way across, okay? So this is not a good example of it, but so this one here has a couple of short walls. That's what it does have. You can keep the chain on if you want, or you can just kind of individually pick up these walls, see here in your drawing. And you see it's not real exact. I'm putting them in so that I can get this project done. And in this case, I would want to have the chain on so that I can have this continuous wall that comes across and over. And I know I have a stairway here, so I want to make sure that I have this opening. Okay. And so at some point, you're going to go over to the 3D view. I can click on the house icon up at the top left and kind of see that I'm developing this 3D project. And now maybe I want to put a roof. I'm going to go over to the roof. And if you can't see walls because they're down below, over in properties, you can go to underlay. Underlay, if I change the underlay to the first floor and then I pick apply, you see how I can see now some of the project that's below it a little bit. So the underlay will let you view some of the information that's below it so that you can work with it. But in this case, I didn't need it because I'm working on the roof plan over here. So I'm going to click on roof, and then I have a roof that slopes. Sometimes it's better to create separate roofs and then join them. That's what I'm going to show you, because you may find that it will work out if you have kind of an addition here and you have all of your sloped sides defined as we did in the first video. But this way, I'm going to show you a different way so that we can create them as separate roofs. So here I may want to create a 1 foot overhang. I'm going to put one in here in the overhang. And so by default, it's going to ask me to pick walls. So I'm going to pick on this wall and this one. Those two are sloping up, and I'm going to take the check mark out and pick these two. So I don't want to define this one right now. So what I'll do is I'm going to escape out of that and use this tool right here, Trim Extend to click on these two walls, or these two lines, so that they can kind of extend. And then if I pick the green check mark, I have here the view range is cutting the roof off here, but if I go back to the 3D view, you can see that I have my roof. So now I'm going to go back to the roof plan, and I'm going to create another roof here. So sometimes it's easier to create two pieces of the roof and then join it. So in this case, I'm going to go back to my plan right here and see that there's another gable end that's coming off the extension of this house. And so if I go back to my Revit drawing and I'm in the roof plan, I'm going to create this gable end right here. I'm able to now create an overhang here that's not sloping, and create here, just by drawing it, a line that goes 1 foot out this way, and we might have to adjust it. We'll come out here somewhere, and then another line that doesn't define a slope in the back. So basically we end up with this box. I'm going to use this trim and extend icon right there to select these two lines and clean up the corners so that I end up with this box that's going to slope at these two ends. I'll pick the green check mark, and what you'll end up with in the 3D is this kind of piece that's in the front. This piece is in the front is separate from this one, but if you go to the Modify tab and you click on roof, this join and unjoin roof, join and unjoin roof will join one roof to another. And it's different from this join because this join will actually join the geometry, and it's very helpful for when you have roofs that are touching each other and you want that line that's between them to show. It kind of joins that geometry. But we're going to use this join and unjoin roof right now so that I can click on the edge of this one that I want to modify, and this one that I want to join it to, and you see how it just kind of joins right to it. So I would have to tweak it a little bit because it looks like it's up too high. We would then be able to work right in this 3D view. We can double click on it and kind of drag this piece out by selecting it and dragging it out to wherever you want it to go. You can change possibly the slope of it maybe as you start to work with it a little bit to make it work just right for, you know, this corner. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but you can actually very quickly, you know, pull it out until you get it to the point where it's lined up, and then later on you can join it. So I had to pull it back, and then over here there's a base offset from level. I need to change that base offset from level, and this is just on this project, but maybe I need to go maybe 9 inches, negative 9 inches. You see how I could bring it down to negative 9 inches, and in that way you can work with the roof slope, or you can change this base offset from the level so that it lines up. And now I can probably double click on it, drag this out to it. Okay, so I brought the base offset down and I lined it up. I double clicked and I used this tool to line it up. I had to look at it, look straight down so that I could line it up in a little bit better way. You can hold your shift key and the wheel of your mouse to kind of orbit around and work in this view. And there it is. Now if I want to extend my wall, I can click on the wall, pick attach top base, and then select the roof itself. In this case, and this could happen to you also if you have a couple different walls, this wall needs to extend and become a fill-in for this gable end here. It's kind of a different look. So sometimes we may have to double click, and I'm going to remove it because I did attach it to the top part. I had to double click on the wall so that I can change the wall itself. And then here I'm going to click on pick lines. When I click on pick lines in the draw panel there, I can click on these two roofs and kind of create this triangle. So here I can use this trim extend to select this purple line and this one. See how it's kind of coming out this way. And then if I do the same thing with this one, I'll have this triangle, but now I have to split out this piece because it has to be kind of a continuous piece of wall. So there's a tool called split element. If I click on split element here, I can split it from here to here. Use my escape key to get out of that. Click on this line and delete it by clicking on the red X, the little red X. So now I have this kind of magenta purple line. I can pick the green check mark. I just need to pick unjoin. Sometimes warnings are okay because they're just telling you that you can't keep the wall joined because it's a different type of wall. I'm going to just pick unjoin elements, and there's my piece that I needed for that triangle. This, this piece right here would be filled in with a little piece of flooring from the second or the roof level. All right, and then this I can select and attach to the top part. Another roof element, I know it's not in this one, but I wanted to show you, and please watch the other videos on the roof modifications. There are other tools you can use, but on this one, let's say we want to just create this kind of little dormer here. You can double click on it, and what we want to do is we want to split it again. We want to use the split element to split here where I want that roof to start to slope up. So let's say I go 10 feet, and then I'm going to erase this line. Actually, I can split it. I'll just go ahead and split it another time so that I have a split right at 5 feet. So what I end up having are these two little pieces. I need to take the check mark out of define slope, so that these two little 5 foot pieces don't have a slope. Take this check mark out. See, I've got a piece there and I've got a piece there. Then I'm going to use the sloped arrow. If I click on slope arrow and I find here the beginning of that 5 foot line and the end of it, what I'm saying is that I want this part to slope up, and then I'm going to click on slope arrow again. I'm going to click on this beginning of this line here, sloping up towards those arrows. And if I pick the green check mark, you should see, there it is. It's all the way up. It's a little too high, so I'm going to double click on it. And if I click on the arrow and I look in properties, the head is 10 feet up, so I'll change that to something like 5 for this one. And then I'll click on this arrow and change this one to 5 feet and pick apply. And then I can pick here the green check mark, and now I've got this piece that's kind of a little dormer on my roof. I can select the wall, pick attach top base, and select the roof. So this was kind of a quick version of some tools that you might use in Revit. There are additional videos to get you started with working with roofs and walls. So for this module, we're looking for the exterior walls and the roofs. If you have an opportunity to go back to the floor plan and start to work with those interior walls, we're going to be doing that in the next couple of weeks. You might as well start to put those in also. And another kind of smart thing to do here on the floor plan is to go down to the bottom and change your graphic display options. Here I can click on the small icon at the bottom left corner, click on graphic display options, and if I change my transparency to about halfway through, and I pick apply, and I pick OK, you see the transparency will let me see through these walls, so that when I go back to the architecture tab, I can click on door. You can use your space bar to flip the door before you actually place it, but some of this was in that very first video. You can go ahead and start to place some of these doors if you'd like, and even the windows, but we are going to be taking a look at how to modify the windows. So some of these windows are windows that you can find in the families under insert and load family. We looked at this a little bit under windows. You can see the different windows here. By changing the view to thumbnails, you can find windows like casement windows, but we're going to take a look also at how to customize those windows, and there are several online at Revit City and other places to go. So let's get started here with the exterior walls. You can also, and the roof, and you can also pick floor and start to sketch the floor. I know that we did this already in the first video, but it's up to you if you want to sketch it with a line or just pick walls and use those tools like this trim extend to create this floor. Now remember, there are stairs coming up here, so I'm going to have a hole in this floor. From the earlier video, I'm just going to show you off here on the side, you can create a floor that has kind of this outside outline and then another rectangle inside of it like that, so that when you pick the green check mark, you have this floor that has an opening already for the stairs. When I go to the 3D view, you can kind of see that there's the floor with the hole in it. And of course, you'll be doing that over inside your plan, but just wanted to show you that that is an option. Go back to the modules and make sure that you take a look at some of those videos. The videos have in it what I just went through, maybe in a little bit more detailed way. You can learn about sloped glazing and all of these roof tools that we can use, like roof by extrusion and wall sweeps and reveals. You can watch the wall video and take a look at some of the curtain walls that we'll be getting to later on in this semester. And contact me if you need help. I'm here to help you.